start the recording right now. And good evening, welcome. This is Gene Cabago, and Roger may or may not be with us tonight because he's down in Disney World, I believe. And so he's going to try to join us, but I'm not sure if he is going to be able to. But we do have with us tonight, we have Karen Wagaman, who is the now, I'm trying to remember your exact title. In the teacher resource
the director.
Director. Yeah, when you get old, you can't remember your own name.
Yes, I'm aware.
So
I feel that way too most days.
Well, wait till you get a little older. But anyhow, so we're very glad to have her tonight. And without further ado, Karen, why don't you take over and let us. I'm sure we're going to have some good things. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Gene. So I just want to give some information regarding the Teacher Center and some other things, and if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. First of all, a big change since I took over last year was July 1st of 2016, the state changed the regulations for newer teachers. Those who are professionally certified need to complete 100 CTLE hours every 5 years. At this point, I am unaware of the vehicle to report those hours to the state. I know that's shocking that New York State would develop something and not have it fully developed before rolling it out, but that's the way it is. I've heard it's going to be on the Teach system. It's just going to be an attestation that you click on, and then if you're audited, then you would need to provide the documentation. So anything we offer through the TRC, we have records of. It's virtually everything is CTLE hours. You can use CTLE and clock hours if you're taking something after school. If you take PD through the district on the PD days, they have a CTLE number. Those would also be CTLE eligible, but they have that documentation. It is in every teacher's best interest to keep maybe like an Excel spreadsheet type of document. Every time you take something, where you take it through, how many hours it is, the date and the time, just so you have your records complete. Also, if you take something from Orleans Niagara BOCES or online, teachers are responsible for keeping their records. In the past, prior to July of 2016, the district uploaded all these hours to the Teach system. That's not how it's going to work. It is no longer a district. It's no longer in the district's hands. The state changed that. Also, another thing that changed, and again, for those of you who already know this, I'm sorry, but some people are still thinking that faculty meetings and department meetings count for CTLE hours. They do not. It is only professional development. It's supposed to be dealing with content, pedagogy, or ELL. So department meetings, there was no way for anyone to kind of know what was going on at a state level, I would say. So those were kind of the biggest changes. Also, everyone who does CTLE hours, or everyone who falls into that requirement, so maybe an older teacher like myself who has a second certification or a newer teacher, 15% or 15 hours have to be in English language learners, English as a new language, English as a second language. It's gone through so many transformations, but currently it's considered ELL by the state for English language learners. If you're an ENL or ESL or ELL certified teacher, 50%, 50 hours have to be in that. So that's one of the things I've been trying to focus on, to make sure that there are plenty of opportunities for people to get those kind of courses. On that note, I hired a new presenter who had done a lot in the Kenton district, Greg Conley, and he's finishing up 2 ELL classes this week, Tech Tools for ELL and Sheltered Instruction Part 1. Those were each 15 hours, and then a new 15-hour Sheltered Instruction Part 2 starts this Friday the 3rd. You can take that independent of the first one. Also this week, we have a book study at LaSalle Prep on November 1st, starting. It's called Stamped from the Beginning with Gina Luke Antoni. John Gatto's at Niagara Falls High School this week, Monday and Wednesday, doing developing student motivation, and on Thursday, proxemics in the classroom. Just going through my notes that I typed in my phone. So we have a lot going on right now. We did start a new online book study today, kind of a hybrid. It's on the 13 Reasons Why. Brian Rotella is running that. And it's going to take a look at some of the mental health issues that book's kind of brought to light and how we can better deal with it as teachers. And then the last day on November 16th of that, we actually have a Niagara County mental health provider coming in to answer some questions that would be beyond the scope of what we want a professional to be able to answer some of those questions. Also, just on an aside, this isn't a teacher center offering, but we do just provide information that the pistol permit class is being offered at the Niagara Falls Teacher's Office this Wednesday, November 1st from 6 to 9. That's the course you need to take. You get the certificate, and then you can fill out the application. It's $65, cash, check, or debit card. And we're also offering a budget seminar on November 14th, 3:30. Hanan Samuel of Foresters, who's one of our providers. So this is a course that's like the pistol class, not for clock hours, not for CTLE hours, just offered available for budgeting and for financial wellness, trying to really get in touch with like the younger teachers, just to kind of give them some financial information. A couple other things I mentioned that I kind of wanted to talk to everyone about was that, I have a lot of people come into the teacher center and they're doing salary differentials and everything. And some people are, right on it. They've been in the district 10 years. They're at 90 hours. But I just want to kind of go over that because January's right around the corner. And I believe the forms are due January 8th. So in our contract, you max out at 90 hours. And 15 clock hours, so say one of these ELL online courses is 15 clock hours. That's one credit. You need 10 credits to advance. So you need like 150 clock hours, and a graduate class is 45, and any combination therein. So we've been trying to really, I know, like I had young kids at one time. It's hard to get to the classes. That's why we're trying to offer many online offerings as well as the webinars to try to give people the opportunity to do as much professional development as possible, but kind of work it at their own schedule. And one thing that I tell everybody, I'm kind of getting near the retirement age. Not that I'm counting, but it's like 4 years and 32 weeks maybe, but I'm not sure. And you want to maximize your income. Yes, Jean, I'm counting. You want to maximize your salary. It's lifetime money. Your pension is based on your high 3 years of salary. If you're at 90 hours in your last 5 years, that's great. Also, no matter when you're hired, if you retire from our district, your sick days get bought out by the district. If you were hired before 2011, if you have 200 and your last year of work, they give you a bonus 100. So depending on what you make, that could be anywhere between $50,000 and $60,000 deposited to your 403B by the district, which is a nice thank you for coming to work all those years. So again, that number, that part of that formula for your sick day buyout is how much money you earn on a per diem rate. So you want to maximize your income because it's lifetime money. Your pension is for a lifetime. The sick day buyout, that's money that could, go well into your retirement. So that's just what I'm trying to get people to do. If you have questions, that's what Kelly, Demita, or myself are in the Teacher Resource Center for. We can look up your records. We don't have all the past salary differential forms. We need Alicia Savino for that information, but then we can help you. How many hours do you need to get to the next jump? And that's what we're here to do. So if you have any questions, please email us, or if you're at the high school, stop in and see us. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Just a reminder, 2 aside things that have nothing to do with the Teacher Center. Tomorrow at 3:30 to 5 at Abbott is the information on the MOA for sub-coverage and vote. And then also November 7th, vote no. I'm sure, Jean, you have your absentee ballot.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
If not, I'll just go get your mail and fill it
Okay,
out for you.
okay, so you
Just
can do
kidding.
that. You can do that.
And we have been doing the Ed Talks. We did 3 last year. We did 1 this year, and we're in the process of planning our second one, which is tentatively scheduled for November 29th, called Think Differently. We have we're lining up the speakers now, parents of children with some learning disabilities. A student who is a senior at Niagara Falls High School with learning disabilities is going to speak. A gentleman from UB is going to speak about ADHD. He's an ADHD specialist. So we're just trying to figure that lineup, trying to find 5 people who can speak on the same topic and are all available on the date tends to be a challenge. But that's tentatively scheduled for November 29th. And those were all the notes I had.
Well, okay. I don't know if anybody, again, you've asked us, or you've given us a lot of good things. One thing, when somebody takes, say, a Sunday night webinar and it counts as 1 hour of credit, and you mentioned uh, the number of hours it takes to get the salary differential, those hours count both for salary differential and for the 100 hours required hours,
Yes.
right? I mean, they don't have to select which.
Nope.
That's an important thing that some people didn't know before.
Right. And also, the only time, if you take district PD during the school day, like on the first day of school, September 6th or what that was, those 6 hours count as CTLE. Those can't be used for clock hours. But anything after your 9 to 3 or 8 to 3 or school day, yes, they can be both. It is not double dipping.
Okay. Any other questions? Please, again, and if you have, usually what happens, okay, oh, I'm sorry, I see somebody, hang on a minute. Does mentoring still fall under CTLE hours, or is it similar to a faculty meeting?
Yeah, mentor hours do not count for CTLE because for the CTLE hours, you're supposed to have a provider, like with a resume on file, and there's no way for anyone to check what's going on during mentoring. So from the state perspective, we can't count it.
Okay, thanks, Dave, for asking that. Are there any other questions that you'd like to ask anybody?
I'd just like to say on that, but mentoring is a great way, not only to help your colleagues, but to get some clock hours, because usually the whole course of mentoring could almost get you a full step. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, again, what often happens, I will mention this, is if anybody else has questions, please pop them in. But often what happens is people think of things they wish they would have asked later. So we keep mentioning at the end of the webinar, there is a little survey that pops up in the thank you note, and almost everybody does fill out that survey. Thank you. So if you have any questions, you can certainly put them in the survey. There's an area there for you to make comments and things like that. So if you have any other questions, please put them in. Now, somebody asked me one time about the webinar credit, how it works. Just to let people know, generally what we do is after the webinar, we ask you to do this survey, and we let you have some days for that. So about a week after the webinar, in other words, tomorrow morning, I will download a report from the company that we use for this webinar of the people who attended last Sunday night's webinar, 1 week late. I will send a copy of that report into the Teacher Resource Center, and I also send a list of the attendees to Demita, so she can then put those give those people credit on the PDP Premier. That's why you don't have to sign up for this on the PDP Premier. thank goodness we have Demita, because she takes care of all of that for us, so it makes it a whole lot easier. I think you get a note back or something saying that you've gotten an hour credit. Is that the case? Do you know that anything about that?
I believe they get an email that says you've been verified.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, Demita takes care of all of that.
Yep.
Okay, something's popping
She
up now.
creates the class, and then once she verifies it, they get a email confirmation.
Okay, hang if you would. What if you were a sub and you are not on PDP Premier? Well, first of all, obviously she's probably trying now. Are you?
I'm thinking, because I'm trying to fill in the rest of the question. If you're a sub and you're not in PDP, hopefully you know that there's a form on the district site. I want to say it's under the Office of Human Resources. It's either Human Resources or Business. It's got to be Human Resources. On the forms and documents, that if you do 12 hours of PD, you get 2 days pay. So hopefully you're keeping track. And as far as the webinars go, I could sign for that if you brought it to the Teacher Center, or if you trusted Interschool Mail, you could mail it to me, because Demita will have a record of it. Yes. So we will still have a record of it for that purpose.
Mm-hmm. You will be on the you will be on that attendance that I send in to Demita. And so if you can do that. Now, my question, I guess, would be now, is this person working toward her 100 hours also? And how would she be able to verify?
Well, again, the state is basically putting it in the teacher's lap to keep their own records.
Oh, I see.
And if they get audited, then they're going to have to provide documentation. I know this is very cynical of me, being that I've been here so long. Do you remember the videotapes that people had to do for certification?
Yeah.
That there's millions of sitting in a room that never got watched. I tend to think that they're not going to audit anyone, but I would never tell anyone not to keep records.
Yeah.
So we would still have this. Like I suggested, maybe keep an Excel sheet, with your own records of all the PD you do. And then if you do get audited, we have a record of this. We keep our records, we have the records forever. And as far as getting a PDP, I think if you have a district email, I know you can, but I know there's also people who have them with their own personal email. You could contact Alicia Savino, because she needs to set that up with Winnie Rick, because it's a program. We don't run that out of the Teacher Center. It's run through Erie One BOCES. So I can't just sign you up for an account, but Alicia Savino can. So if you did want to get into PDP, if you're planning on staying in the district, etc., not a bad idea. Email Alicia Savino, and she could get you set up with that.
Okay, yeah. Also, I have someone says that none of the, I'm just reading the question. It says, none of the webinars from September or October have been entered on the PDP yet. Should I call to check? I would definitely check with Demita, and if there is a question, let me know, because I keep the reports too, and I also can get them back. So if there is some kind of a mix-up, we certainly do want to straighten that out. But I know Demita is very busy and sometimes is maybe behind a week or two, but I would imagine she has many of them in already for September at least, and part of October, I would think. But you could double check.
I would think so as well, but I can ask her tomorrow too, because I just check PDP Premier basically for registrations.
Yeah.
I don't take care of that aspect of it. So
yeah, and
I know at the end of summer, like Marie turns in a lot of the
study groups. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So like in the end of August, she's like just jam packed, trying to get everything in from the summer for the September 1st deadline. But I would think that yes, she would have some of the webinars in, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, and if there is a question of any sort, be sure to get in touch. I can always double check the reports and make sure that you have been verified that you do get your credit. We do want people to get credit for it.
Right. Right.
Okay. Are there any other questions then? Okay. Well, Karen, I want to thank you for joining us. You're welcome, and you're welcome to stay.
Actually, Gene, I think I'm going to go turn on that Steelers game. But
Oh boy, I lose out to Ben Roethlisberger, don't I?
not really. No. But thanks for having me. And if
Okay.
anyone has any questions or anything they need, they can email me at any time.
Okay.
And I will try to check on that tomorrow as well. And maybe, Gene, if you send me an email to remind me, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I certainly will. Like I say, I'll be you know what? I'm going to be sending in a report tomorrow for last Sunday's, and I'll mention it to Demita as well. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Hey, and everybody, thank you again for joining us. Hey, we were, we have some things to talk about here. I'm going to have to make some changes here, so you're going to have to if you would bear with me for a moment, so I can change my screen so I can get back to where I need to be. You can say hello to my turtle or parrot. Just would like to point out a couple of things. First of all, each week, if some of you are new, I see a few new names. I know many of you are regulars. Each week, Raj puts up a webinar blog question, and if you would like you to go to the page that you registered on, and it's down at the bottom, and there's a little question. All you need to do is click on comments, and you can put in a comment. These comments will come in anonymously unless you are logged on to a school computer. Like if you did this at school and you were logged on, it might pick up your name. But if you were at home, it would not do so. The only way it might do it is if you were on the network. So I would like to, if you have any comments, even questions about Karen's presentation, please click on tonight, and would be very, very happy to pass them along and so forth. This is the end of October. Boy, it seems like things are going quickly. There is a page that I've put up, and I'll be advertising it in an email tomorrow. The November webinar page where you can register for the webinars. We'll have webinars on the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. Again, because we have Thanksgiving coming up, we won't have one then. So don't be shy. Please join us. And with that, what I would like to do tonight is talk a little bit about something that we're always pushing, Roger and I, and that is, of course, your professional development. Many times we talk about the technology aspect of it, but we also have started an area, and it's under Technology Resources for Teachers. If you're not sure where that area is, by the way, it's under staff, and it's the one at the bottom here, that we're starting to go through and update these, but we have some new ones and some things that might be of interest. We're going to be, we've just updated the teacher website guideline and how to do a teacher website. If you're thinking or are in the midst of transferring your website from New York Learns over to Blackboard, this is the Blackboard site now. This provides a lot of information on what you can put on your website, how to do it, and you can get in touch with either Roger or me, and would be very glad to help you get your website transferred over. It's very, very easy to transfer it. You don't have a lot of work to do to transfer your New York Learns over to the Blackboard, and you'll find out that I think it's a lot more convenient to work with, and I think you'll like it a lot better. Last week we talked about Symbaloo. That was the bookmarking, I guess, visual bookmarking tool that some people are interested in, and if there's a little website there for it. But the one thing that we haven't really talked about a lot, well, we keep saying would like to get to, but we never do, is a site called Informal Professional Development. And this is a site where Roger and I store articles that we run into that we have found of value that we thought that you might be interested in, and most of these articles are the non-technical articles. Okay? These are articles that deal with things other than technology, and you might find some really good things in there. Most of the time what we try to do is pick articles that are very short, easy to read, not one of these heavy-duty 5-page things, and that have some, good points made very quickly. As you can see down in here, I don't know, somebody in Denmark must like us because they have visited us a lot. We have a little counter. This is a visitor counter, and if you're interested in getting one of these for your teacher page, send me an email. I'll show you. This is even easier than you would imagine. It is incredibly easy, but you'll notice that it's kind of cool because you'll find out all the various countries that we have. I think that's Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is name the flag time, and I'm not sure of some of these countries. So anyhow, if you're interested in a counter, a visitor counter, let me know. I can show you how to do this. I can send it to you, and you can have it up and running in 5 minutes. But anyhow, back to professional development. This is informal. You can go here, click on this little line here, and you will be taken to a Flipboard. And I just kind of, to save some time, uploaded it and got it ready to go. And Raj and I put some things on here just recently that you might be interested in. This one, there's a lot of talk and a lot of stress, not stress, bad stress, but a lot of I can't think of the word, being put on STEM these days, and they even talk about it being changed to STEAM because they're thinking of putting in the arts, of course, but the importance of STEM and what it will be like in 5 years. A cool article. For those of you who are writing instructors or who have to evaluate student writing, that How Not to Assess Student Writing article, I just put it up today. Very short article, but it has 3 or 4 good little ideas. Okay? And we like to take a look at this. Another thing, one big area that I'm going to click on this one. This is called BAM Radio. I hope it'll take me there. Oh, good. This is a site for you. And it has any number of great ideas, topics that you can listen to. These are short talks. Many of them deal in the 10-minute area. Some are a little bit longer. And you can, if you I'm just going to hit the browse all, you can see all of the various topics here that they talk about: classroom management, Common Core standards. I mean, all kinds of getting students engaged teaching strategies, and they have short talks on them. Really, really good. And what's even better is this. If you have an iDevice, as many of you do, and again, I'm not pushing iDevices, but Roger and I kind of like our iToys. In fact, I have a new one coming Friday. I did break down and buy the new iPhone X. You can subscribe on iTunes. If next week or week after, if we have some time, what I'd like to show you is all of the various free information and free shows and things that you can find on iTunes. It is a wealth of teacher and student information. And this is BAM Radio is one of the blogs or podcasts, I think they call it on iTunes, that you can get there. But I mean, just, Roger, I sent this to Roger today. I haven't heard back yet. I just saw this one is fairly new. 5 reasons to start blogging this school year. So we're going to do that. But it's a great way of getting some ideas, some knowledge, and you can pick it up very quickly. If you go for walks or go to the gym or something like this, I know of a lot of people who can actually, you can download them to your devices and then listen to them while you're walking or at the gym or wherever. Or you can just put them on while you're at home by hitting play episode. So the BAM Radio is a place that you might want to take a look at. Yes, they have ed technology, and they actually have things for parents too that you might want to take a look at. You might want to mention to your parents if you send out information to your parents. That would be a good thing too. But anyhow, BAM Radio. I'm going to go back to just to show you again some of the things. This is a cool one. We talk about rubrics all the time, creating rubrics and so forth, how things are evaluated and what our expectations and goals are, and present these to the students, hopefully beforehand, so they know exactly what's expected, and gives them sort of a map, a path to doing their writing or project or whatever they're doing. This one is dealing with what they call a single point rubric, and basically this is a means of individualizing the project or the education or whatever you're doing for the student, and making it personal. This is what I'm going to be evaluating you for, and it's a very good article. Again, you can just browsing down through here, you can find any number of things. Unbelievable, This one, this is a really good one. This is a freebie that you can download. Let me click on that and see if I can get it real quickly. I think it's here. Yeah, here it is. The ultimate cheat sheet for critical thinking. Great questions that you can build in to your lessons and help the kids with. The who, what, where, when, why, and how of the material you're teaching. And it really is good. You can go to this site. You can download this as a page, or you can just right-click on it and download it as a video. Okay, right there. Download it as 11 by 17 PDF. Okay, and it's really good. I might even recommend, and I've done this. This is a free workbook, critical thinking workbook. And you can get the workbook by simply, they ask a few questions, nothing personal. and you click on that, sign up. They'll give you a return email that will allow you to download that critical thinking workbook. I do have it, and I wish I would have thought about getting it ready to show you, but I don't have it right now. But it is really, really useful, and it has some good ideas that you could work into your lesson plans too. So that's another great site. And you can I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought, see if I can go here. What's another thing is you can subscribe down here to this site. I think it pops up as you saw it do just as I was trying to get away. Right there, okay? Enter and they'll allow you to subscribe, and they send you little articles every now and then that are pretty good value. This is what Roger and I do to collect all the information that we try to put into these things. Some closure activities. I'm just going through real quick. How to prevent bullying. Again, if you just browse through there, I forget now how many different articles. There are 460 stories right now. We've had it viewed 690 times. So hopefully you're taking a look at it, but some really good things here you might want to take a look at. Okay, so we've done that for you. Roger and I also, let's see if I can get to my web page without, if you give me just a second, I'm going to close off a few of these things right now, just so I don't crash anything. So I don't, because I'm here alone, and if I crash, you get to watch the football game a little earlier, and I am watching the time. Okay, but anyhow, Raj and I each have web pages, and what we do is collect resources, and many of the resources that I have on my Sunday night webinar resources are more technologically oriented, but there's some that are not, and some I put on both the informal PD and the Sunday night webinar because I think they're good. Let's see if I can get in here real quick. Oh boy. All right. And what I've done is, again, you'll see that a few of these first three, I put on this morning, so they're in both of the pages, so you can go to either one. This is interesting. This article right here, 10 tips about using images in your classroom, is a pretty good one. And it takes you to a website that has 10 tips about using images, and then image copyrights, images, where can I find kid-safe images, drawing in Photoshop. Well, we don't have that, but easy photo editing in Microsoft Word. I just saw that this morning, and I want to get back to take a look at that myself. Okay, so now I'm going to have to go back here, I guess. Yeah, but again, that's another good one. Oh, I know it's almost too late, but Halloween is coming up. But we did talk about this last week. The origins of monsters and ghosts and spooky things like that. Pretty cool. It's kind of an interesting site. I think I mentioned that it's not really a kid's site or a teacher site. It's just a site for information, and you might like the site too. It has all kinds of good stuff. So that was a pretty good one. We talked about the 5-paragraph essay, and this is an idea that is being put out of alternatives. Some people get a little tired of the 5-paragraph essays, so something like that might be good. Okay, that's the one I was looking for too. Again, if you look at things like here, I mean, this is what I wish my teacher knew. There's an article I really think that, again, you might want to take a look at because it gives kids a chance to really connect with you and maybe tell you some things that you didn't know that can really help you with your teacher-student relationship. So take a look at that article too. That's a terrific one. Some people, I had a person ask me about this after a show a couple of weeks ago. We talk about kids about using images and copyrights and so forth and so on. And one of the easiest ways, of course, to get images, just to go to Google and do the search with Google Images. And the only problem with that is many of the images it brings back, are copyrighted or have some sort of usage limitations. So we're always looking for places that have the copyright free, they're images that we can use. And this is a site that is really good if you're just looking for pictures that you can use on posters or on your own teacher website, or if kids need it for things. And it's called Pixabay. And it's got all kinds of things, and it works very easily. I'll just type in Niagara Falls for the heck of it. And let's see if we can find some free images. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. The first line, I think we've talked about this before, but somebody asked me to go over it again. The first line up at the top, it has kind of a, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of a tannish tint to it around it. And you'll see Shutterstock printed in it. The first line is sponsored images. These are images that are not free, that you need to pay for, okay, if you wish to use. The other images are images that you can easily download and use on your own. For example, if you wanted this image right here, all you needed to do is click on it, and first of all, it'll tell you it's a free for commercial use, no attribution required. That means that you don't even have to tell anybody where you got it from. Okay, and then if you click the free download, I think they allow you to download in various sizes. Now, if you hadn't joined us before, and if you're thinking of downloading, for the most part, for most of your posters, for your websites, and for your use, for the most part, we recommend that you download either the smallest or the second smallest size. First of all, it downloads faster. It's easier to use. It's smaller, often size-wise too, when you put it onto a poster or something. And it makes it a lot easier to use. So we recommend that. So that's another, just wanted to go over that again. Somebody asked me about that again, so I kind of said I'd look at it. Okay, but again, Sunday night webinar has, again, lots of things. I was looking for, there it is. Is that, I'm not sure this is the one. Okay, okay, but again, we are supposed to be teaching kids about using the internet properly. We keep using the term digital citizenship. And we also have to be models and use the internet properly ourselves and not use copyright violations and so forth and so on. So this is an article that has a lot of good ideas, but it also leads you to a great website that if you've never been there, do yourself a favor and go there. I'm just going to, let me see if I can just get, I'm going to keep cutting this back for a second just to get to the home page. It's called commonsense.org. And when you go, if you go to commonsense.org, you're going to say, this doesn't seem to have a whole lot. This is the beginning. And it does have the donate. You're going to say, wow, they want money. But this is a huge independent nonprofit organization, and it has a huge number of tools and a lot of information for teachers. And this is one that you might want to recommend to your parents, because if you, let me just go down here. Now, we have three things down below. Common Sense Media is the one that you might want to talk about with your parents. This is the site that talks about movies, videos, games, apps, websites, and rates them. So parents can, make some choices as to what their kids should be playing, viewing, so forth and so on. Some really good things. You notice up at the top this says for parents. This is a site that you might want to recommend for your parents because it has so much stuff on it. There's new in theaters. You want to, okay, the kids want to go to a movie. They can get a review. They can get an idea of what the movie's about, so forth and so on. And it is really useful that way. There are family guides to movies, TV, apps, things like that. There are even videos that they can watch on tips and so forth. News and advice. There's so much in here, okay, that you might want to recommend to your parents. Going across from parents on this site is the one that I think we could be really, really interested in because it has so much for us. If you're looking for technology, here's a great place. You can click on, let's see. Come on. Okay, a little slow here. You can sort, so if you're looking for something from Windows, it will give you websites with a rating, teacher rating, what grades, and a little bit of a review on what they are. So if you're looking for something that, certain types of games or certain types of tools that you can use, or even some at home, you might want to go here. You can actually, you can sort by subject and grade and price. I always pick that one. That one's a good one. Free. And so forth and so on. You can go back, but it's a great place for you to search for technology, maybe some, other things for your classroom, for your kids that they might be able to use. This is a good one, and it has, it's the digital citizenship, where we've gotten a lot of the materials that we have on our internet safety web pages for the school. But let's see if I can find what I want to show you now. There are, okay, how do I find it now? I know it's here. Digital citizenship. Oh, there it is. You go under digital citizenship, go down to class, for this. It's got some good classroom posters. News literacy. Here's something for elementary students to start building news and literacy. They've just come out with a number of new posters dealing with the idea of fake news, because that seems to be an important issue these days, and actually about what devices are we using. Okay, you can write on some of these, and some of the things that we need to do. Pause and Think Online, a series of 7 posters. You can get all of the posters for free just by clicking on them. And here's a good pledge for middle school. Should I share? This is a great one for middle and high school. But again, some posters, things like that deal with technology. If you need to find an EdTech tool, again, there's another way of doing it in here. But anyhow, that's another website that I wanted to show you, because that is a terrific thing. Lastly, again, since we have some new people tonight, I hope the Dave and you guys that are been around for a while don't mind us going back. Here is one. Most of you have heard of TED, but have you heard of TED Ed? Again, if you haven't, do a website search for TED Ed. As you can see now, there are 266,000 lessons, and you can register, log in for free, and use any of them. Let me just, pick How Your Muscular System Works, and this was created by a teacher. But just to show you what the level of the type of lesson is, these are really good types of lessons. And if you were on earlier when I was talking with Karen about watching the recordings afterwards, some people can't make the Sunday night webinar but would like to watch it afterwards because we're recording it now and get credit. We're trying to set that up, but we're trying to set it up kind of as a TED Ed approach. And basically what it does, I know I'm already updated. There's a video, and then after the video it asks 5 questions, okay, that the students can do. So you could have either the students watch the video separately or as groups, maybe as a team, and then do the questions. Then there's a Dig Deeper that has a little article that gives some additional resources. And then maybe after everybody's done that, there is a final open discussion question that you can use. Okay, and again, this is the discussion question here. Okay, but again, these are lessons that are built up, and you can use those. This is a terrific place, and it has lessons based on, so many different topics and subject areas. So I mean, you can go through, and I've actually watched a couple of them just for my own sake, and learned some pretty good things. So there's some, and there's also a way for you to create your own lessons if you see these, or if you have a favorite video that you would like to use, how to incorporate the video into this, and then add your questions and your discussion questions and so forth. And it creates a pretty darn good lesson that you can then broadcast to your students as groups, individually, however you would like. So that's another way of doing it. And with that, I've come to the part where now I have to go back. I hope I can remember where I am. And going to remind you that about an hour after this show ends, you will be receiving a thank you email for attending. Please open that up, because inside there is a link, and the link will open a survey, and would like you to go through that survey very quickly. Only take a minute or two. And as I was telling you before, next Monday I will be sending in the report for this Sunday's webinar to Demita, and she hopefully will be putting the credit into the PDP Premier for you. This is the end of October, so don't forget that we have my computer went to sleep, maybe along with the rest of us here. The November webinars up, and we are welcome to go and register for them. We're going to have webinars on the 5th, 12th, 19th, and we'll be very glad to have you there. Okay, and again, if at any time you want to get to that website, my website or Roger's website, to view some of those flipboards that we created, you can do so right here as well by clicking on those. So that'll get you into there. And with that, Raj didn't manage to join us tonight, and I thank you for putting up with me. I will hopefully, I'm sure he'll be with us next week. And so thank you. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Those of you who are building, are interested in building your website on your teacher website, on your school web page there, let me know. If you don't have a login, we'll get you all set up and get you going. If you have any questions, you are working and have run into any questions, please let me know, and would be very glad to help you. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining us tonight. And if you have any questions for Karen, don't forget to put those in the survey as well. And I hope you have a great week, and hope to see you next week. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording